Stuff Works Explained, a channel that explores on events, activities, issues, and projects in different parts of the world, but with more focus in Africa. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing to this channel. For repeat viewers, we thank you for your support. You can watch our videos, share, comment, leave a like, as well as hit the notification icon so that whenever you upload a new video, you are notified. In today's video, we'll be talking about the conflict in Eastern DRC. As we know, Eastern DRC has been having this conflict for the last 3 decades, and up to now, the conflict still continues. In different times, you have heard of reports being given about the security situation in this area. Most of them has been from United Nations group of experts and also from Western organizations. But there was one report that was released in June 2024, but this report did not receive the coverage that one would have imagined. The report is titled Security Situation in Eastern DRC, and this report is by an organization called Never Again Rwanda, NAR. This is an NGO which is based in Kigali, and this NGO is dedicated to building peace and human rights, as well as conducting research to help in understanding dynamic driving conflicts in different parts of the continent, as well as drawing lessons from the genocide against Tutsi in Rwanda. So media coverage has been extensively focused on the reports that you have just mentioned, which are made by or created by United Nations group of experts, and these have been given prominence. But this report, which was released in June 2024, has not been given the prominence that probably it requires. So in June 2024, Never Again Rwanda, which is an NGO based in Kigali, released its 2023 security situations in Eastern DRC report. So unlike the UN reports, this report is notably concise yet more detailed, providing meticulous documentation on the ground realities. So we'll look at this report, what it contains, also how it describes the conflict in this region of Eastern DRC, as well as the recommendation that it makes. The report starts by providing a historical context to the ongoing conflict in the Eastern DRC, where it emphasizes the colonial legacy, the post-independence turmoil that set that stage for current crisis. It covers the brutal colonization by Belgium, turbulent years following the independence in 1960, as well as the rise of and fall of Mobutu Sese Seko regime. On the colonial legacy, you know that DRC, which was then known as Congo Free State, was exploited under the King Leopold II of Belgium. Brutal forced labor and extraction of resources like rubber and ivory led to millions of deaths. Belgium administrations from 1908 was marked by systematic racism and exploitation of people economically. Then we have the post-independence turmoil, where the report notes that independence in 1960 led to chaos, including the secession of Katanga, as well as assassination of the Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba. Mobutu Sese Seko's dictatorship, which lasted from 1965 to 1997, was characterized by corruption, ethnic nationalization, as well as economic collapse. The genocide in Rwanda in 1984 also had a significant impact on DRC, with an influx of refugees and armed groups which destabilized this region in eastern Congo. Then we talk of regional upheavals and Congo wars, which were fought between 1996 and 2003, where Rwanda and Uganda backed groups to overthrow Mobutu Sese Seko leading to Kabila rising to power in 1997. The First and Second Congo Wars, which were fought between 1996 and 2003, involved numerous African countries and resulted in widespread atrocities and destabilization. In the second chapter of this report, it outlines the current security situation in Eastern DRC, where it focuses on North Kivu, South Kivu, and Ituri provinces. It discusses the resurgence of M23 rebellion and activities of various armed groups. It is well to note that M23 has been the only group that has been given prominence as far as reporting is concerned. But this report also establishes that there are other groups that perhaps that are committing much atrocities compared to M23, but focus has only been on M23. In North Kivu, the resurgence of M23 rebellion in 2022 escalated violence. Congolese Armed Forces, FARDC, launched operation against M23, leading to retaliatory attacks and civilian abuses. In South Kivu, communal tensions and the presence of foreign rebels contribute to violence. Burundians have been meddling, and this has worsened the security situation. In Ituri, the Cooperative for Development of Congo, CODECO, this is a militia group, and this militia group has intensified assaults on civilians. Then you have the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, which has also escalated attacks, exploiting the security vacuum that has been left. Eastern DRC, as we know, is rich in resources such as gold, diamonds, coltan, among others, and it continues to be a battleground for groups which are vying for control of these resources. This competition drives conflict, with groups extorting the local population, using profits from illicit trade to fund the activities. The government consistent failure to resolve the entrenched intercommunal and ethnic conflicts perpetuates a cycle of violence. The report also continues to emphasize on the complexity of violence in key areas. It says that in addition to M23, a patchwork of other armed groups operates in this Eastern DRC region. We have seen the Cooperative for the Democratic of Congo, CODECO, militia group, which has intensified attacks in Ituri. While we've also seen the role that Alliance Democratic Forces have played, and taking advantage of the security vacuum that exists in this area. And then we have seen that South Kivu has experienced violence, which is fueled by communal tensions, as well as presence of foreign rebels, as well as Burundian interference in this region. The human toll of this crisis is devastating, as according to this report. It says that over 7.2 million people were internally displaced in Eastern DRC by late 2023, and nearly 1 million fleeing to neighboring countries. Food insecurity and disease outbreaks, as well as attack on aid workers, compounded this suffering. Despite rising needs, donor funding for humanitarian assistance has not been coming. Humanitarian access has been severely obstructed by armed groups and government restrictions. In North Kivu, Mai militias and allies attacked aid convoys and abducted relief workers, leading to the suspension of several aid operations. Across the Kivus and Ituri, millions of people face crisis-level hunger, with acute malnutrition surpassing the emergency threshold in many displaced sites. Chapter 3 of this report delves into the ethnic and communal violence that plagues the Eastern DRC. It highlights the targeted violence against specific communities, particularly the Banyamulenge, Tutsi, and Hema. On Banyamulenge, who are the Tutsi-speaking groups, these have faced persecution and massacres, which are often targeted due to their perceived links with M23. We have Tutsi, there has been anti-Tutsi sentiment which is very rampant, and this is fueled by historical grievances and current conflicts. Hate speech and ethnic scapegoating has led to economic blockage as well as massacre. The Hema community has also been targeted by Lendu militia, leading to cycles of retaliatory violence. And hate speech and ethnic scapegoating worsening the violence, leading to further persecution. The rebel M23, which tends to be the focus of international attention, is partly seen as a Banyamulenge political and military group and a protector. In the past 2 years, in a war that has displaced millions, it has conquered large areas in northeastern DRC, specifically in North Kivu. A deeper reflection of this report leaves one with an impression that the international focus on M23s and the scuffle over whether Rwanda is involved or not has really obscured realities with far greater regional consequences on the ground. Banyamulenga and Hema have faced exterminations, and this seems to have taken the last stand. From the place they have been boxed in, there is an element in M23 campaign that is seen to fight to death. Their motivation to fight for survival seems to have given rise to a greater today than the incentive that they are given by the militias. The hate speech and ethnic cleansing also seem to be driving many people into hands of M23. Outside of this report and UN reports, knowledgeable sources in the eastern DRC suggest that M23 are far more extensive than the outside world can ever imagine. For example, their victories in some areas, especially in Virunga, late in 2023, are said to have given them access to very valuable agricultural plants and products, and this has swelled their coffers considerably. The ethnic cleansing and hate merchandising have sent tens of thousands of young people to seek sanctuary in the arms of M23, which not only has more economic resources but also has a lot of space to build out. That would potentially tilt the military balance in favor against Kinshasa, especially now that it has established a local government in the area which is under its control. If this goes on longer, the rebels could be in a very strong negotiation position if they ever sit down or at a table in Kinshasa, and there are fears that probably this area might secede. Chapter 4 explodes on the multifaceted nature of violence in eastern DRC, examining interplay between local, national, and regional factors. There is competition over control of natural resources, ethnic tensions, as well as regional power struggles which have driven this conflict. Various armed groups, including domestic and foreign actors, have vied for control, leading to complex security landscape. Neighboring countries have also not been left behind. They are involved. There has been reports where we have heard that Rwanda and Uganda have interfered in different ways, and this further complicates the situation. Chapter 5 paints a grim picture on the humanitarian toll of the conflict. It has detailed the displacement, food insecurity, as well as disease outbreaks which plague this region. We have seen that almost close to 8 million people are currently internally displaced, with 1 million people thought to have fled to neighboring countries. Food insecurity and disease outbreaks are also rampant, and this just goes to worsen the suffering of the population. Aid workers have been attacked, and this also hinders the humanitarian effort that have been here in this area. Then there is funding shortfalls, where donors have not been what they have been providing is not adequate. The report concludes with recommendations which are aimed at breaking the cycle of violence, as well as addressing the root causes of this conflict. It recommends protecting civilians and ensuring accountability. where this can be done through strengthening justice mechanism and security reform. It also recommends disarming and demobilizing armed groups, where there can be implementation of community-based reintegration programs and local peace building. It also recommends promoting inclusive political dialogue, where dialogue between the government and oppositions, civil society, as well as marginalized communities can be facilitated. It recommends investment in socio-economic recovery, where the communities can be provided with alternative livelihoods, especially for the youth as well as those who are displaced. Formalization of mining sector, we are cutting off armed groups, financial and criminal networks can happen. It also recommends enhancing regional diplomacy, where tension can be eased between DRC and its neighbors, who DRC accuses of meddling, especially Rwanda. There is also recommendation on scaling up humanitarian assistance to ensure that there is access to aid in the conflict zones. In a nutshell, we can say that the report underscores for sustained international engagement and courageous Congolese leadership to achieve a peaceful future. It paints a grim picture. If this is not done, then we might see the conflict escalating and perhaps even to a situation where this region goes secedes, just like South Sudan did. So we'll be on the lookout to see how this progresses. So thank you for reaching this far. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Also, hit the notification bell so that when we upload a new video, you are notified. Thank you.